We're taking a trip down memory lane with this recipe. It's something Mum would make for dinner parties. It's a smoked trout terrine, and I'm sure it would have been very popular back in the 60s and 70s. But you know what? Let's make it popular today. So we're going to need some smoked trout fillets. These ones are fantastic because they're skinless, boneless. They've also been hand-picked, so a fantastic option. And also we're going to need some smoked trout here. So this is cold smoked trout, and this is hot smoked trout. I like the texture of both of them. So we're going to need some ramekins too. These are about ½ cup ramekins, and I'll just grab some Glad wrap and pop it into the ½ cup capacity ramekin. And this is going to ensure that it's easy for us to demold our terrines once they've chilled in the fridge. So just using your hands, mold the Glad wrap into the corners. I've also sprayed the ramekin so that Glad wrap sticks to the sides. Okay, good. Now, if you can't find cold smoked trout, just good old smoked salmon works a treat too. You want to use the centre cut, so the really large cuts of it. And we're going to do a bit of a mosaic, if you like. So we're just going to pop our smoked salmon into our little ramekins. And you'll need about 2 to 3 slices, or enough to completely cover that Glad wrap, and also allow it just to overflow slightly because we need to wrap it and seal it at the top too. So this one, for example, needs 3 pieces. Great. And I'll continue doing this with the rest of my ramekins. These are looking good. You can see I've got a bit of excess which can go into the mixture that we're going to be making now. So I'm just going to drain my smoked rainbow trout, and I like to reserve some of the oil. I just may need a little amount of that oil to emulsify everything together. So we'll see, and just pop that into a sieve. The best thing about this recipe is you can make it ahead of time. You can make this up to 2 or 3 days ahead of time. They'll be even better, and they'll be nice and firm when we demold them. So we need about 210 grams. Excellent. And just with your fingers, just flake that smoked trout up. Smells great. And now we can add that to a food processor. So classic flavours that go with the smoked trout, good old capers, a spoonful of them, along with the zest of 1 lemon. I love having a fine grater in the kitchen. Such a great tool to invest in. You can see how easy it takes off that zest, and none of that pith is going in there. You don't want the pith for this because it'll make it bitter. So just be careful when you're doing that. Some herbs, some soft herbs, tarragon and some parsley. Dill you could use, but I wanted to change it up today, so I was lucky enough to find some tarragon. It's got a really nice anise flavour to it. So we want about 2 or 3 sprigs of these herbs, and that should be plenty, along with a few sprigs of parsley, and we'll just tear that into our food processor. It's going to chop it all up. Now 1 spring onion. I just want the light green part and the white part, just for that mild onion flavour. Everything's all about subtlety with this recipe. And to bring the whole thing together, some mascarpone or cream cheese. We want about 80 to 100 grams. Scoop that in. And just to ensure that that mix, because you can see it's quite firm, I'll add a splash of cream. So just a pouring cream. Good, blend that together. Okay, this is looking quite good now. We do need to add the remaining smoked trout, so we're just going to roughly chop that into pieces. I like to leave this to the end so we get those chunks throughout that terrine mixture. Great. And I like to add a small pinch of salt too, some freshly cracked pepper, and I will add the remainder of that cream. Okay, just a pulse, a very light pulse now. Okay, that is all done. Gee, it smells good. Now we just simply place this mixture into our ramekins, spreading it out and evenly distributing it. So just make sure there's no little air bubbles, just compress it. And we want it to come all the way to the top. And then we just grab the sides of that smoked trout and just tuck it all in. So we're making a little parcel. To ensure we get that perfect shape when we demold, just grab your Glad wrap. And this is where it just comes in so handy with a recipe like this. You just want to completely tuck it in, press it down, and that's good to go into the fridge. There you go, first one done. I'm going to pop these in the fridge for at least 3 hours to firm up. Our smoked trout terrines have set nicely. So to present this, I like to serve this on a bed of lettuce, just mesclun lettuce. I'll add a squeeze of lemon, keeping the dressing very simple, but please dress the lettuce leaves because it just tastes so much better. So just a small amount of that lemon juice, extra virgin olive oil, and do this at the last minute so those leaves don't wilt too much. Some salt and pepper. And give that a toss. It also makes those lettuce leaves look better because they'll be nice and shiny. Great. We'll pop that onto a plate and almost just spread it out and make a slight moat out of the lettuce leaf. So we've got a nest for our terrine to sit on. Looks good. And our terrines, let's take that one. And this is why you want to put the Glad wrap at the beginning. Look how easy it is to demold. Oh, just like that. I'm gonna take that off, flip it upside down. Look how gorgeous that is. That looks restaurant quality, as my dad would say. I'm gonna serve that with another cheek of lemon on the side. And one last little touch, a few drops of oil on the top. Use your hands just to spread it out and give that smoked trout a little sheen. Oh, that looks so good. Let's cut into it to have a look. Just with the sharp knife, just go straight down. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna have a taste. So yummy. It's such an elegant dish and it's fantastic for having as an entree or a light lunch, even a light dinner. Delicious.